lot of what families are doing right now is just trying to find resources. A lot of our families are still working, actually, because of the jobs that they're holding. They're still considered essential workers. So, families that work at fast food restaurants or work in grocery stores as checkers or work for Amazon, either in the warehouse or as drivers, are all still pretty much working full time. And I think the challenge there is that they don't have childcare. So we have a lot of families that are still working and have kids at home and are relying on older family members to take care of their children, which is challenging right now with the stay-at-home order and social distancing and what we know is best practice, especially for people that are in the field. So I think there's a lot of anxiety. I think that there's a lot of frustration. And I think that there's a lot of uncertainty, especially with families. I've talked to families who are sick and who haven't really been able to access adequate medical care or get tested and feel really concerned about their children who are also showing symptoms. I've talked to families that are working full time and can't see their kids because they're not trying to expose them. And other families who are just really struggling to connect to basic resources, like who don't have Wi-Fi or who don't have working laptops. So I think that there's a lot of variety of need here, and it all feels like very urgent and also like pretty high needs. So many of our kids rely on having Chromebooks from our school because they don't have personal computers at home, which is wonderful, but a lot of our Chromebooks are broken or old, or not working. And the process through the district for getting those fixed has been a little bit cumbersome and a little bit confusing. And I think families are so busy and so concerned about other things going on, they're not really prioritizing, like trying to figure out how to get to IT. And we have other families that just don't have Wi-Fi, who aren't sure how to get Wi-Fi, or who weren't prioritizing it, right? Because the sort of messaging from the district was that this is going to be a 2-week closure. And so I think a lot of families weren't really grappling with what the reality of this extended stay-at-home order looks like until very recently. So in my typical role at school, I run a lot of processes that would connect students to additional services, whether that be like academic, behavioral, or social emotional. And I do that through our COST team, which is our coordination of services team. We really shifted how the COST team operates to support families in getting resources and supporting them with distance learning needs through this whole stay-at-home period. So what that looks like is working with my school team to figure out how we actually track needs. Like who's going to be reaching out to families, who's going to be documenting concerns or needs that they have, whether that be food, financial, shelter, technology, and then coming up with a process with our COST team members to really sort of triage those needs and then almost take like a case management approach to like, how can we connect these families to services, like what services are actually still available and considered essential right now, and what can we do to make sure that these kids are still being safe and successful in their home environments when we can't see them every day and have that touch point like we're used to. We've also really shifted a lot of our practice. One of the teams that I run is the Culture and Climate team. This is generally focused on student culture and climate, and in the stay-at-home period, we've kind of shifted it to staff culture and climate to just make sure that we continue feeling like supported and safe and together as a community at school in the best way that we can virtually, right? So a lot of what we're doing is thinking through like weekly newsletters and what we can send home, like resources that we found that we might want to share with teachers so that they can then share with their students, putting up like mindfulness links so that teachers can be engaging with that and students can be engaging with that as well, setting up, virtual happy hours and virtual game nights, just so we continue feeling like a team. Because I think like what I've heard from teachers is that it feels really lonely to just be at home all day and interacting with their kids not all of whom are actually able to participate in the lessons. And so having that sense of community around them, I think feels really important for everybody's self-care. I think it's just amazing, like how many resources people have come up with in such a short amount of time, and ways that we've been able to engage kids from home that have felt really impossible in the past. And it makes me feel hopeful that we can continue doing things like that, especially for kiddos who, for whatever reason, might be having a hard time getting to school or might be homesick or something, right? Like, instead of keeping the school environment in this like physical place at school, to just think about ways that we can continue reaching out to the community and supporting our families even when they might not physically be with us. And I don't think that that's something we've ever really thought about before, just because we've never had to. And just thinking through the possibilities of how we can keep that going seems really exciting. And I think a lot of the reason that we've had any traction with families through all of this anxiety and this stress and this uncertainty is because they know us and they have a relationship with us and they trust us. And I don't think we would be able to get half of the work done that we're able to get done remotely if that foundation of relationship wasn't there. So I feel really grateful to be able to work so closely with these families, and that we're able to establish trust from such a long-standing working relationship together.